Do you have any so kind of with that, we've talked a little bit about some spiritual teachers that you've had or role models,
Yeah.
but were there some additional ones that were impactful on your path that you would like to talk about?
God, of probably a big three.
Mm.
Um, First one is when I was a teenager, young teenager. They all met me when I was a teenager, actually.
That's
Very
so
short
funny.
window of time. Yeah, when I was and I can't forget Pam really, but I spent the most time in those years eventually with a fellow by the name of Austin, who was introduced to me by my dear friend and mentor Pam. She was a transcendental meditation teacher and a fantastic psychic who moved to my hometown and was giving readings at the Metaphysical store and would
Wow.
just take the time to chat with me, which looking back I appreciate immensely. Here's somebody 40s or 50s taking the time to really give attention to a 14-year-old when she probably had
Aw.
other things she could be doing with life. So eternally grateful for Pam. Then she introduced me to this fellow named Austin. Austin came and he said, well, now the trees are going to sleep. And any new age person could say some crazy shit like that, but the way he said it, and
Right.
and the look in his eyes, and I felt his presence from about 30 feet.
Whoa.
uh and it was great. I
Yeah.
really vibed with it. And I got talking to him, and it turned out that he was something called a walk-in. And after meeting him, I started walking around my hometown, and I noticed all these signs that said walk-ins welcome at hair salons. And I thought, oh my God, I had no idea that hair salons were so metaphysically oriented. you know I
Right.
was having a blood moment. I was like, they're everywhere. Everybody knows about these walk-ins. Oh my God, like, no, obviously it was different. But people may not have heard the term a walk-in. I'll tell Austin's story, which he told to me, which was,
Yeah.
well, actually, I lived in a small town, and in a small town, everybody knows everybody's business. So when my dad told me, you're hanging out with who? Because before he died, Eldo Austin, and came back, was
Mhm.
was a notorious town asshole. Just a and so when I met Austin, he said, yeah, the old guy, meaning the other guy who
Mm.
he used to be. The other guy, he was at the hospital running on the treadmill doing the stress test for your heart to
Yeah.
see how prone you'd be to a heart attack, and he had a fucking heart attack on the treadmill. That's
Oh
how prone he was
no.
to a heart. So the
Oh
machine
my
really
gosh.
pushed him into it. He died, massive heart attack, died. He said, yeah, he was on the table, and then I came in, and we tagged out. And I came into the body. I kind of scared some people when I came back to life again. And he said, yeah, his story was actually, it was a multi-lifetime yarn actually that he
Mm.
told. He said the other guy was a reincarnation of a cavalry officer who had served in General Crook's army, exterminating the Apaches in the Southwest. And he said,
Right.
I was one of the people he exterminated. I was like a medicine man or shaman. He had a different word. I don't remember it. He came in and he had a detailed knowledge of Native American ritual of the Southwest. And he was brought into the tribes down there. He even looked like he even looked Native American. His face kind of changed. He lost pretty much most of his friends
Mm.
when he came back in, because they were kind of assholes like him. He had to get a divorce because she was kind of an asshole too.
Right.
And he had like one friend who was able to kind of stay in the orbit. And it was pretty much 0 to 60, in other words, in 3 seconds, right? It's not a gradual thing. And he was kind of a different guy.
Hmm.
And that can be kind of like a walk-in experience. And anyways, no matter how he framed it, he went from being town asshole who had once leaned over at my father's bank and choked another loan officer because he wouldn't be given a dubious loan uh, to him. That's how bad
Whoa.
he notoriously, he was. And he went from that to being this amazing, um, amazing psychic
Hmm.
and ritual holder with
Wow.
crazy energy around him. So I would go to his house because I was having all sorts of weird stuff with my head
Hmm.
going on, not medical. Like, it would go open. I'd be leaving my body at night. I would get weird headaches. He called them, oh, you're having processing headaches. I said, processing? Yeah, everything, your body is being realigned. I would go to his house. Within 100 feet of his house, I would feel a phase shift. and in my body. I walked through a veil. I'd get in. He could be doing anything. He just let me take naps on his couch
Wow.
for 20 minutes because then I'd feel right as rain. It was like a instant meditation. And then I would leave. And often I'd go in, he'd be under his truck in his garage. I'd say, Austin, I had to use the couch. He'd say, all right, freeloader, go ahead. And I'd go in and then I'd come out and I'd say, yeah, thanks, Austin. He said, and he'd just laugh.
Wow.
A lot of weird stuff happened around him. I mean, I tell this on my YouTube channel, but I'll tell the story here, or a couple stories, if you don't mind.
Oh, yes, please.
I'll start with the less weird one and end with the weirdest one. They're both cool.
Yes.
I went to the beach a lot to swim in the summers as a teenager, because I enjoyed it. Good exercise. I would often put my goggles on and like find every now and then a $5 bill at the bottom of the thing, once a 20, tens. So I like being out there. One day I went up to sit on the end of the pier, and I went into kind of a untaught meditation. And I had this thing, I have to open my eyes. I opened my eyes. There was an endlessly tall beam of goldish, whitish light that looked like a flame coming out of the end of the lake. And it must have been, I couldn't estimate the width, many boats wide. So 80 feet wide.
Wow.
From where I could see.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went up all the way to the sky. And then I, wipe my eyes, thinking like, am I seeing something here? Come back up, it's still there.
Whoa.
And nobody else is seeing it. Everyone, I'm looking, is anyone else seeing this? Then I just left, didn't mention it, came back the next day, saw it again. Then I went to see my friend Austin. So I didn't mention it to him, and he said, oh, you saw the light at the end of the lake, without me saying anything. This would happen all the time. He said, like, wow, you saw it. And he said, and I say, okay, thanks for letting me know that I saw it. Yeah, it's then I had this dream. I had these dreams a lot. I called them dreams, of course, because they happen at night.
Right.
So and what would transpire is I would find myself in what I could only describe as floating cities. And I would be taking classes and subjects that I had no aptitude and sometimes no interest in my waking life in, or no knowledge that they even existed. Sometimes I would be teaching classes, which was even more bizarre because I was a teenager. It's like, I'm teaching, and there's all these adults, and there'd be almost like Greek amphitheater things. So anyways, one night after having one of these happen, I think I was giving a riveting talk on the spiritualized botany of the 21st century, which, I didn't follow up on becoming a botanist or anything, but I go over to Austin's house again. I don't mention anything. And he said, I saw your talk last night. It was great. I saw you. And I said, what talk, where? And he said, yeah, we were both up on the ship. He called them ships. I call them floating cities. We were both up on the ship above the lake. Indeed, it was actually above. It was connected to that beam of light.
Whoa!
When I had the dream, and I thought I was just dreaming it, and so yeah, a lot of these confirmations would just kind of come out with me. And I said, and what I talk about is something about mysticism and plants. That's what he said.
Something about that.
He said it's a little complicated, so I kind of went over here. I was like, all right.